their email there at lasso@tea.texas.gov with follow-up questions as well. Let's do a quick overview of the LASO Cycle 4. As you know, the Learning Accelerations and Support Opportunities, also known as LASO Cycle 4, is the next iteration of the consolidated application that strategically batches funding opportunities that support learning acceleration and innovation opportunities. We have around 400 million in service and supports. There are 15 unique TEA initiatives to support learning, acceleration, and innovation. And again, one application so that you guys have access and ease of applying for multiple opportunities if you see fit for your district. The LASO 4 cycle is anchored in the 4 learning acceleration strategies. The strategic planning, of course, and management to prioritize launch and continuously improve learning acceleration strategies. Again, you have curriculum and instruction, accelerated learning strategies, education and training, more time, and innovative school models. The LASO Cycle 4 P-TECH opportunity is located in the innovative school models, which again is to incorporate all aspects of learning acceleration framework. This gives you a quick, again, another opportunity to look at the entire LASO 4 portfolio. Toward the bottom, I wanted to highlight the 2 opportunities that I oversee. Today, we're talking about the Pathways in Technology, the P-TECH opportunity for early college high school. If you're interested in our other program, it's the Early College High School ECHS opportunity that we'll talk about again later today and another opportunity next week. But as you can see, there are multiple opportunities across those initiatives. Again, ours today is located under the initiative of innovative school models. Apologize. And for P-TECH, there is up to $1 million and $100,000 per grant opportunity. Let's look how the LASO and the P-TECH programs connect. Again, our Pathways in Technology, P-TECH, Early College High School. The student benefits are to reduce barriers to college and career access, increase college and career readiness, and also to provide academic support and support services through dedicated staff. A quick look at our CCRSM statewide network overview. Our CCRSM statewide network includes both of our early college high schools and our P-TECH schools. This gives you a quick representation of the percentages of school models that we have. You can see that P-TECH is 57% of our school model participation, whereas early college high school is 43% of the model. You can see that there are almost 71,000 students who are participating in our early college high school process. And you can also see that there's almost 33,000 who are currently participating as P-TECH students in the state. Those total up to about 100,000 plus students. We have over 260 plus LEA district partners, so partners like you. They connect and work with 60 plus college and university partners. And again, our P-TECH model incorporates a business and industry partner, and we have over 200 plus industry partners in the network. The purpose of the P-TECH program is to offer opportunities for campuses to build and support innovative high schools that provide a structured program, which leads to graduate with successful post-secondary outcomes. The bar chart you see here, we just want to highlight some of the success as it connects to the CCMR credit. So again, we're looking at P-TECH students and also early college high school students and their success as it relates to industry-based certifications, program study that's aligned with that IBC, level 1, level 2 certificate completion, and associate degree. Our P-TECH students are highlighted in orange. Our early college high school is in blue. And then our non-CCRSM partner students are in gray. So as you can see, those participants, those schools who join our network, and those students who are our P-TECH students achieve at high rates. For IBCs, you can see they succeeded at 37% rate. For the program aligned study connected to the IBC, they have a significant marker of 20% of success. The level one, level two certificates, they're at 18% success rate. And even though, and I would say it additionally, let me say that additionally, the PTech program is slightly oriented more towards graduating and beginning a career immediately. You can still see the associate degree success that our PTech students have. So not only does the PTech program align with dual credit opportunities, gaining an IBC, potentially a level one, level two certificate, there's also an associate degree goal, and our PTech students do well across all those measures, especially when compared to our non-CCRSM students. When you consider the eligibility criteria for your district and for a potential high school, please note that the eligible applicants are serving students in grades 9 through 12, or will begin serving students in grade 9 or grades 9 and 10 in the first year of implementation. The first year of implementation for this program is 27-28. And again, after the 27-28, they'll progressively scale up by adding at least one grade level per year after the first year of implementation. Keep in mind that all current PTech planning, provisional, and designated campuses are not eligible for this opportunity. All recipients of a previous LASO PTech grants are not eligible for the opportunity, and any campus that is currently identified in our network as a needs improvement campus is not eligible. It's not eligible to apply as well. We just want to highlight here some of the application assurances that are included in the program guidelines, which you'll have access to on the website. As you can see here, uh, just a few rules around please don't use any private information contained that would violate the FERPA Rights and Privacy Act. Please be sure that the applicant adheres to the statutory and TEA program requirements as noted in the program guidelines. The applicant assures to adhere to all performance measures as noted in the program guidelines. And again, just assures that any electronic information resources produced as part of this agreement will comply with the state of Texas accessibility requirements as specified in the TAC 206. And of course, as you're probably familiar with, these funds are intended to supplement and not supplant any current programs that you have. As we look further into the application assurances, please note, really quick notes, any person offered employment subject to fingerprinting. Please note that all equal treatment of all persons is an application assurance that we need to abide by. And also there is a biological sex and no preferred pronouns assurance located in this application as well. What I highlighted in blue here for you is specifically the PTech application assurances. Previously, we talked about the more general LASO application assurances. These are directly connected to the PTech portion of it. And you roughly can kind of see that it's just currently maintaining current contact information so that we'll be able to communicate with you effectively in the Ask TED program. That you'll regularly submit your expenditures at a monthly or quarterly pace. That your recruitment materials, again, are promoted and submitted to us both in English and Spanish. And then, of course, some additional things related to enrollment guidelines that follow enrollment requirements, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And then submitting a data report of stakeholder input methods to use to obtain input about the implementation of the program. So really we're looking for how did you build your program on that last measure, who was involved, and then what sort of connections and feedback did you get also from your students, staff, and community members as you're building out your potential PTech program. On this page, we just want to highlight that once you begin as a PTech member, of course, you'll need to have a signed and dated MOU with your IHE partner. which I'm sure most of you are familiar with right now. And that you must submit a plan of wraparound strategies and services to provide academic, behavioral, and mental health supports for student success. And additionally, LASO has an application process, but know that if you decide to apply for the LASO grant and or apply in a non-funding aspect for the CCRSM network, if you want to apply to become a PTech, there is a separate CCRSM PTech application. So and essentially, there are two applications. Today, we're talking about the LASO initiative and its PTech grant application. But please know that there's a unique CCRSM PTech application that if you decide and choose to become a part of our network, whether it be through the LASO process or not, that application will need to be completed prior to the next year. Let's take a couple of looks at the time commitment. So again, just give you a really general, broad overview of different components and the time commitments to build out this kind of program. You can look across school board, superintendent, C-suite, district leaders, the campus leaders, including coaches and teachers. So we're trying to give you a more deeper sense of the time commitment per week, but please know this varies. So it depends on the um, the experience you have in the CCRSM network with our PTech programs, especially uh, the familiarity with each component and how they connect to it. But we hope that this chart will give you a better sense of the weekly and monthly commitments as far as time goes for each one of these components that are vital to help building out a successful PTech program. The one thing that I'll highlight down toward the bottom are the teachers component. Depending on the PTech model, some of all or all of your teachers may be involved in teaching the PTech students as the program continues year over year. So that time does vary a lot. But you can see that campus leadership, about 30 hours per week on average. Again, sometimes it'll be a little bit more, sometimes it'll be a little less. Our district leaders, again, depending on the commitment and the overall conceptualization and the size of the district, potentially up to 20 hours per week on average. If you're looking at your C-suite commitment, about 2 hours. Superintendent, depending on the size and the superintendent involvement, but roughly about 1 hour monthly or weekly. You look at some of those goals. And the school board, of course, is connected to potentially offering on average 1 hour of approval time commitments. This slide hopes to give you a little more information about our scoring criteria for the grant. So again, you can kind of see the standard grant criteria on the left column. You'll see a brief description in the middle and the maximum points available. So once you decide to commit to the application process, there'll be a series of questions, as you can see, and we'll rank you and score you on particular questions associated with stakeholder decision making, the PTech partnership agreement and requirements, the PTech plan degrees and courses offered in Crosswalk, the post-secondary credentials alignment and MOU partnership roles, and then future recruitment strategies and support systems. Now, please, I want you to know that when you're applying and committing to answering these questions, we do realize that this is your plan and that plan can change. And that plan will most likely change. What we're looking for is your initial conceptualization and support systems, right? All those things you have in support, how to sustain it, how to build it from what you're seeing right now, how you connect with your IHE partner, how you connect with your business and industry partner, because that's going to be important, a relationship as well. So answering those questions will give us a really good idea of where you'd like to start. But please know that we understand that this is not a final commitment to the process and that we evaluate you on your initial ideas. And then we give you a total score of up to 50. An additional tip that again that we talk about a lot is to use your blueprint when answering these questions. And so when you're in the application, you'll see references to when you're answering these questions, you'll see references to the blueprint and directing you right to the component of the blueprint that we're talking about and how to answer that most effectively. The best applications that we've seen so far address that blueprint component directly to directly to your situation, your community, your student, your partnership, your relationships. So really digging down and applying the question and the blueprint marker to who you are and how you want to grow those students and how you want to grow your program is really important. We're going to talk about the blueprint later, and I'll give you more information on that as well. This information is related to priority points. So as you can see, all grant applications will be evaluated based upon the following categories. So we'll give you initial score up to 50. If you receive 70% of those 50 points, which is again a minimum score of 35, then the priority points kick in. So you can see that school systems that are not currently participating in the CCRSM network receive one priority point. School systems classified by TEA as rural receive one priority point. If you're in the upper quartile of at-risk students, another priority point will be granted to you. If TEA classifies you as the upper quartile of economically disadvantaged students, a priority point will be awarded to you as well. If your school system's been classified as a TEA Board of Managers district, you'll receive a priority point as well. Campuses classified with enrollment size under 10,000 students will receive two priority points. And campuses with 25% of graduates attaining an IBC per the most recent TEA data available will receive two priority points. So I hope that gives you a better sense of priority points. Again, to receive those priority points, the initial score must be 35 or above when we talked about the previous grant review process here. There is a possibility that we would implement oral interviews depending on the evaluation and priority points giving to our finalists. If we do, you'll be notified, and then that'll give you a chance to further discuss with us some of the systems in place that you have. And again, you can always reference different materials in that sense as well, as far as we just need a little further information. So if we need the process of granting an oral interview, you'll be notified. We'll schedule one over Zoom. And then it's just a sense of getting to know you a little bit better and deepening and furthering that application process so that we'll be able to choose the best, the most appropriate schools for this grant money. This highlights a little bit of what I've just shared with you. If we have more requests than the amounts available, we may implement, again, those oral interviews. During the oral interview, the applicants will have the opportunity to elaborate and evaluate on their planned partnership. Again, we'll focus in on assessing the readiness for the grant program. I mean, if you are identified as a TEA Board of Managers district, you may be asked to attend an interview to determine readiness of your campus for the PTech program. Let's talk a technical assistance. So once you become a part of the CCRSM network, you'll be offered free at no cost technical assistance. That'll be provided by Educate Texas. CCRSM campuses are required to collaborate with the TEA technical assistance provider Educate Texas. You'll receive an expert coach and coaching support, site visits from that coach, a virtual community of practice, which includes thousands of PTech and early college high school administrators who jump on board and answer questions, ask questions, offer resources. So it's a great community of practicing CCRSM colleagues. There are multiple focused professional development opportunities. And then we have local, regional, and statewide events to attend, all for free. So again, you're required to collaborate with Educate Texas, but all of that collaboration and partnership with those coaches and that support staff is free. I do want to highlight a couple of FYIs. When you think about provider contract guidelines, please note the requirements are around equal treatment of all persons, and biological sex and no preferred pronouns. Again, in accordance with recent executive orders, if a grant requires districts to contract with a provider, then include the following language in that contract as well. So please pay attention to those two new components. So what we talked about is the LASO overview, the PTech connection to the LASO grant, gave you a little more information on some of the requirements, the eligibility, and a little bit of how each application will be scored. So what we now want to do is transition over into the PTech deep dive. So if you look at this slide here, what I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit how the transition and the maturity works in the network. So right now, you're considering the possibility of applying to become a planning campus. If you decide to apply and once you're accepted, you'll be accepted into a planning year, and we call that year zero. So again, in year zero, you've been accepted in the network. You're receiving free technical support from Educate Texas. And you're taking that initial plan that you submitted to us and you're building it out. You're fleshing it out, you're reconnecting, you're deepening those ideas. Sometimes you're making some course corrections along the way. Potentially, you're adding an additional IHE partner or a potential business partner as you go further into that year zero. Essentially, the planning campus year is 12 to 18 months of planning to deepen that process. You are not teaching students at that moment. So again, you apply to become, you're accepted into the network that initial year, which for this cycle will be, so this year is 25, 26, it'll be 26, 27. So the planning campus year is 26, 27. Once that planning year is complete, that following year, you become a provisional campus year one. That's the year you begin teaching students, officially taking that well-developed plan that you've had those 12 to 18 months to implement and begin the process of working with your students in year one. Your provisional year one, year two, you're growing it out. So there's a sophomore, potential a second year component. Year three is your juniors are included in your cohorts. You're growing your cohort across three years. Year four, you get to your first senior cohort, and then completing that fifth year. So once you complete 5 years of teaching students, you're eligible to become a designated campus. So after that initial year of planning, those 5 years of provisional, where you're working out your program requirements and goals, and working with your students to deliver on their student results. After that fifth year of completing teaching those students, you become eligible for designation. In your seventh year, you'd be after completing your seventh year, you'll be eligible for designated with distinctions. I'm sorry, including your sixth year. Apologize for that. So you kind of see how it works out here. So right now we're in that planning stage. Over the multiple years, you'll get to the designation and status, and then potentially eligible for distinctions. After that fifth year, if you don't hit the designated goals, which again, we're going to talk about a little bit later in this session, you'll be designated as a needs improvement campus. And I want you to consider this as just a continuation of our involvement and really identifying with our technical assistance partners those areas that have blocked you from becoming officially designated, designing a plan, a program to get you back to designated, and so that you can become designated and potentially designated with distinction down the road. So again, that needs improvement process is private. It's a focused intervention from our Educate Texas staff, from our TEA staff, to get you back up to meeting those designated outcomes-based goals. You get to designated by year 9. And if for some reason after those multiple years, and after that, those years 6 through 8, if it's not working from a potential student component point of view, or potentially the campus is having issues that just can't consistently hit designated status for us, we'll help you transition back to a more comprehensive model. If you're thinking about that from a PTech point of view, we'll help you transition more back to a CTE focused high school, or potentially a dual credit model as well. This slide just kind of represents what I've just talked visually. Again, you can see the years 0, 1 through 5, year 6, and year 7. Planning campuses are not serving students. provisional years 1 through 5, you're serving students and you're receiving data to help you build out your program. Complete those 5 years, you'll receive all of your data indicators, and we'll determine your designation status. I've mentioned this a few times, but there are outcomes-based measures, and we also call them OBMs, which need to be met. And we'll talk about what both access indicators mean, what those achievement indicators are, hitting 3 out of the 6, and again, hitting 3 out of the 6 attainment indicators along the way. And then as you get to that year 7 plus, you'll be eligible for designated campus with distinctions. So again, just a visual that we're at the potentially applying to become the campus. There's an entire planning year, and then those provisional years are teaching those students 1 through 5. We're gaining data. We're seeing our student success. We're building out our program. We're making corrections along the way. We're providing unique or additional support systems for our staff and our students. We hit that designated piece after that year 5, potentially move into needs improvement, and then move forward with that process as well. And again, potentially transitioning back to a campus after 9 years have been completed. So I've mentioned it a few times. I've talked about outcomes-based measures. I've talked about our blueprint. Now I want to actually show you a little bit more about what we've referenced earlier. So our staff has created a blueprint, a model structure for you to be successful in. We call it the PTech blueprint. It's outcome-driven. There are key data indicators to ensure positive student outcomes and measure program health. There are 3 major categories. We also call them outcomes-based measures, or OBMs. One is access. Think of access as your student representation in the program. Think of your achievement category as student achievement through high school-based opportunities. So there's a high school-based component of achievement. And then attainment, as we move closer to graduation, as we move through the process, is connected more to our post-secondary opportunities. So again, 3 major categories in our blueprint. Those success markers are categorized in access, achievement, and attainment. Additionally, what we'd like to offer you is a guide to the roadmap to opening. And what I love about this companion guide to our blueprint is that it prioritizes a specific set of actions for your leadership teams to take during the onboarding and planning phases. So think of right after you apply, we get you connected to our technical assistance partner and a guide that pulls you through and coordinates and guides you through the planning phases of a new PTech. Each of these actions in the guide aligns to a PTech blueprint design element or an OBM or a required artifact. So again, an additional resource connected back to our blueprint that gives you a really good opening start, an opening guide to further assist you when you're starting a new PTech program. Additionally, we provide you with a student and family handbook. This is designed more for families and students who have interests in our CCRCM programs, our PTech and our early college high school programs, created to empower parents, because we know parents are our biggest motivators sometimes for our students to get connected and to uh, challenge their student to succeed in a rigorous program like PTech or early college high school. So again, this is something that you can use and share with your family, your staff, your leadership, your school board. But it's directly related to empowering students and families and why they can succeed and all the things that they'll be able to benefit from if they decide to join the PTech program or the early college high school program. So we have our blueprint, we have our roadmap to opening, and then we have our student family handbook right off the bat for you to just sit down and start perusing and using once you become a PTech, a member of the network. So earlier I mentioned our blueprint. In our blueprint, we have 6 benchmarks for our PTech high school campuses. The first benchmark talks about school design. And so just real quickly, it's this benchmark focuses on establishing school structures and policies, and then helping the leadership team convene and to make sure that there's adequate staff capacity for successful implementation and sustainability of the P-TECH program. Specific design elements inside of benchmark one: student cost, school location is addressed, the size of the student cohort when working with your IHE partner, what sort of scheduling works best both on the high school campus and your IHE campus, and the requirement of each school to become a TSI testing site. If you look at student costs, just keep in mind that the P-TECH program shall be offered at no cost to students, And a couple of things around school location, just keep in mind that the school location could be on a college or university campus. It could be in a high school as a standalone campus or a smaller learning community inside that larger campus. Or for our P-TECHs, it could be at a central location such as a CTE center. When you're considering benchmark 2 of our blueprint for P-TECHs, this is dealing with partnerships connected to our IHE. So again, once you become connected and a part of our CCRSM P-TECH family, there'll be an assigned MOU establishing some of the relationship aspects of providing these opportunities and services for our students. It must be current and signed each year. In addition, also consider too that a partnership agreement must be connected with your primary business and industry partner as well. The key component for the P-TECH, again, is not only an IHE relationship offering dual credit, but also keep in mind too, and the beauty of the P-TECH is there is an involved, consistent business partnership, interventions, activities, and opportunities starting in grades 9 and going all the way through grade 12. Our P-TECH program also offers 2 additional years, depending on if that's a good connection for the program of study with a level 1, level 2 certificate as well. But again, the main point here is benchmark 2 is connected to partnership design elements. Like I mentioned before, the goal of higher ed partnerships, the roles and responsibilities, the funding aspects, how to pay for, who's paying for what, and at what cost price. Because again, remember that our students are not charged any fees for participating, the academic plan, and the transcription of credit. When you're thinking about funding, just to highlight one of these components, just know that it's shared, and some of the shared costs include dual credit courses offered through the program, instructional materials to be used, and textbook adoption. Also consider transportation costs and fees, and the eligibility of P-TECH students for financial assistance from their higher education partners, specifically waivers for tuition and fees. So again, thinking about those components when you're working with your partnerships in a P-TECH program. Further components of the benchmark 2 include course delivery and scheduling, staff planning, instructional materials and books, access to higher ed resources, and transportation. One of the things that we often get questions about and best practice questions around that is the staffing plan. So again, the MOU or the ILA shall include a staffing plan for P-TECH resources, including teacher qualification processes, instructor availability, and course offerings. Also consider too, in 2.7, joint professional development for P-TECH faculty and college counselors and advisors, including district and the IHE faculty and staff. Benchmark 2 continues with collaborative outreach efforts, student participation, academic supports, data sharing amongst the 2 entities, and then an analysis of that program data. So the collaboration is important because you consider that oftentimes our students and our community and our staff and our families are even more motivated when they see that college partner and those when those business partners are involved in their collaboration outreach efforts. So not only do we want you to collaborate and outreach to our students who want to participate in their families that are going to be involved, we want you to connect and involve potentially your college and your business partner as well. What academic supports are you going to offer? This is a rigorous program. We're challenging our students who can succeed and do succeed because you've seen the results earlier. But we're challenging them earlier. And so they're going to be college students at the 9th and 10th grade level. So what academic supports both on the high school campus and the college campus can you provide so those students can continue to succeed? Data sharing, the communication part of being able for the college and the high school to communicate data. So again, to inform interventions that are best appropriate for our student success. Roles and responsibilities in part of benchmark two. Work-based learning program with our business and industry partners, a work-based learning activities, as I mentioned before, again in grades 9 through 12, professional skills and mentorship from both our college and our business partners, and then access specifically to business resources. So again, negotiating all of those things when you think about your business partner as well. What's the work-based learning program that's going to connect to your program of study? That's going to connect to your IBC, that's going to connect potentially to your level one, level two cert, that potentially connects to the associate degree that your students may reach for. What work-based learning activities are you going to implement with your partner or partners in business industry that connect to the program of study that you're offering to your PTech students? How's that going to work over grades 9 through 12? Potentially, what sort of mentorship can your business and industry partner provide? And what access do they have outside of just those learning opportunities to help those kids and students continue to grow so they become the best candidates for that job opportunity after graduation? And again, we mentioned it before, the transportation to the school, your IHG partner, but also potentially the transportation negotiations with your business partner, the opportunity for your students to qualify for priority interviewing, and then program monitoring, just looking back in your relationship with your business partner and seeing where we can, what are successes, what are some things that we can work on as we continue to offer these work-based learning opportunities for our students in grades 9 through 12. I think it's really fun to consider that your business partner gets the opportunity to basically interview potentially over grades 9 through 12. And so I think one of the highlights for the business partner is they invest their time, of course, but they get to see these kids grow into their interests, grow into the expertise that they're offering. They get to succeed and grow and learn from the IHE interventions and class opportunities so that they should be and oftentimes are the best students who are qualified for an interview to potentially receive that job right after graduation. Let's talk about benchmark three, which is targeting population, the target population. When we talk about this, the PTech program and early college program, the campus must must adopt practices and include students who fall into the at risk or dropping out of school. Those kids that are at risk potentially of dropping out. Those kids maybe don't have as many opportunities, but specifically targeted at risk kids for recruitment. Enrollment decisions shall not be based on state assessments, discipline history, teacher recommendations, parent or student essays, minimum grade point averages, or other criteria that creates barriers for student enrollment. So really what we're looking for is for you to open up the program and look for students who can really connect and really potentially gain a lot from being offering this rigorous opportunity uh, in your community. Benchmark three, recruitment and enrollment, documentation of enrollment, stakeholder engagement, and a lottery system. So again, I mentioned it earlier. Who are we recruiting? What are our OBMs related to that? Our outcomes-based measures around at-risk populations, economically disadvantaged populations, making sure that we're hitting those goals down the road, documenting that enrollment process, uh, who's involved in targeting that population and recruiting that population, and potentially what system, what lottery system, what open system do you use so that all have uh, the same opportunity to join under the constraints of the PTech blueprint. Benchmark 4 connects to academic infrastructure design elements. The Pathways in Technology Early College High School must provide a rigorous course of study that allows students the opportunity to earn a high school diploma, and enable a student to combine high school courses and college level courses with the goal of earning an industry-based certification, certificate, or an associate degree. So again, that structure that allows those opportunities to happen and those successes to happen. When you consider benchmark forward, four, we always consider regional need. So in a PTech program, the blueprints discuss specifically looking at what opportunities, what regional needs around your school, around your community uh, are there, and how to connect your program that gives them the training opportunities, the certificates, the IBCs, or the associate degree opportunities to meet that regional need. What are the post-secondary opportunities connected to that? I guess, again, designing course sequences that allow students to reach those IBC goals, those level one, level two cert goals, those associate goals, those dual credit goals, so that we match it to our regional need for employment. Again, the course offerings that are related and the delivery of those courses, whether it be in person, online, asynchronous, etc. When you continue to look at benchmark four, we consider performance in high school. There's a component for college readiness, of course. How to track student data as we build out our program over the provisional years 1 through 5, and even extended as you get into 6+ years of maturity. How do we get kids to join and persist across grades 9 through 12? Then how do we best support the student support pathway in that process of them and then academic infrastructure? So again, some of those interventions that are best supported for our earlier students or the more challenging courses as they get older in the program as well. Benchmark 5 in the PTech program talks about student support design elements. And again, these are the wraparound strategies and services involving multiple stakeholders to strengthen academic, technical, and individual support for students so they can be successful in their PTech program. Some of the considerations are offering a bridge program, what combination of high school and college advising to best implement for your students, specifically the interventions that are best appropriate for your student group or your student cohort, for your student community, and connected back to your IHE and or potentially your business partner. The classroom supports invited and used to help those kids succeed at each level. And as we mentioned before, the wraparound strategies that include behavioral mental health and emotional support around those kids as well, so they can succeed. It is challenging, it is rigorous, but we give you guidelines, we give you structure, we give you technical assistance to help best support what specifically your community, your staff, your students need, so that both the campus and more importantly, the students will succeed in the PTech program. Enrichment opportunities, and then of course, college and career readiness supports as well too. Lastly, benchmark 6, which deals directly with work-based learning design elements. Again, as I've mentioned multiple times, the PTech offers a variety of relevant high skill work-based learning experiences at every grade level that respond to the student interest and regional employer needs and contribute to students earning aligned industry certifications and credentials. Again, what does the community need? What are the students interested in? And then building out that program across grades 9 through 12. Components are work-based learning, a work-based learning continuum, work-based learning offerings. How do students participate, both on campus, but potentially participate at the work site if possible? Additional enrichment and extracurricular activities. And again, how do we track data from the employment and the work-based learning opportunities as well? So I hope that gave you a really good look into the structure that's involved. I know it's a little much to take in at once, but what we want you to know and walk away with today is that there's a structure in place that's well thought out, that has components of everything you can think of so that you'll be successful from a leadership point of view, your teachers will be successful, your staff will be successful, and again, most importantly, the students will be able to be challenged, be successful, and graduate and ready to work right after high school graduation. We've talked a little bit about outcomes-based measures, so I want to mention those as well. These are the goals that you want to hit as we work through. So again, outcomes-based measures are related to your designation status. Your designation status doesn't officially kick in until after completing 5 years. Those first years provisional years 1 through 5 or provisional, right? Provisional years. And you're working using the data that you're acquiring for your student success to build up to meeting designation outcomes-based measures and even succeeding as a designation with distinction campus in later years. If you remember earlier, I mentioned 3 large groups. So again, PTEC OBM reporting used for designation in 3 large groups on the left. You'll see access, achievement, and attainment. There are 2 data indicators related to access. Think of that as the students that you're going to recruit that are part of your program. There are 6 in achievement that are high school based. And then there are 6 in attainment that are post-secondary based. So to reach designation each year after that 5th year, right? You need to reach you need to hit your indicators in at-risk and economic disadvantage and access. You need to reach three of the achievement data indicators minimally out of 6, and then 3 at a minimum rate of 6 in your attainment. So these are the markers that we're hoping you reach and you work toward as you build out. There are minimum requirements 2, 3, and 3, but we want to offer you more data indicators that'll help you construct and style which data indicators in achievement and attainment are best suited for your success for your students in relationship to your IHE offerings and your business partnerships. When we think about student access, we think about student representation. You must hit 2 out of the 2 OBMs in student access. The first one is at risk, 9th grade. And what you're shooting for is no more than under 25% of your district rate. So again, looking at your student population when you recruit each year, you're wanting to hit that marker of at-risk student population, students. And the second one is economically disadvantaged. So you want to hit no less than 10%. You want to be no more than 10% under, no more than 10% under. So again, the easy one to use is that if your economically disadvantaged rate for your district is 50, to reach your OBM success marker, you would want to be no less than 40% when you're recruiting that cohort of student. If you're above that, fantastic, but no less than 10% under your district rate. For achievement, remember we need to hit 3 out of the 6. The 6 are Algebra 1 EOC, hitting the 70% of approaches grade level by 10th grade. English 2 approaches grade level by 11th grade, 70%. CTE program status, 55% of your student population hits concentrator or completer status by 11th grade. CTE program status again, but by 12th grade, 65%, same variables. College readiness in math and ELAR, 40%, CCMR definition by 12th grade. And then high school grad rate within 5% of the statewide 4-year grad rate by 12th grade. In your attainment, remember hitting 3 out of these 6. And the attainment is more post-secondary focused, earning 3 college credit hours, 50% of your cohort by 10th grade, 9 credit hours, 40% by 11th grade, 15% college credit hours, 40% by 12th grade, earning a degree or certificate, 30% by graduation, and then IBC attainment 50% by 12th grade. Persistence, again, starting in the program, hitting all the way through graduation, we're looking for 75% of students who enroll that they consistently persist and graduate by 12th grade, of course. So I hope that gave you a really quick introduction to that. Again, I know it's a lot to take in, but we really want to involve you in a sense of this is what we're hoping for. This is what you're shooting for down the road. But again, remember, you have lots of intervention. You have lots of assistance from us. You'll have a TEA, technical assistance provider, provided by Educate Texas, and a ton of resources to connect to help you reach those goals as you move through your provisional years and get closer to that designation year after year 5. We have about 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, but I want to show you a couple of things. So when you think about outcomes-based measures, what I just went through was a text-based version of what I'm showing you visually. So in 9th grade, we're always talking about how to recruit those at-risk and economically disadvantaged students. In 10th grade, there's no marker for OBMs, but in 11th grade, you have English 2, EOC, and CTE program status. So designing your programs, designing your strategy for hitting our designation goals across the three buckets of access, achievement, and attainment, in which OBMs minimum, remember, 2 out of 2 in access, 3 out of 6 in achievement, and 3 out of 6 in attainment. Which ones are best suited for you? These are all of the opportunities you have, but you can design different things for yourself. So you can see that there are different ways to design the program that's best suited for you. So in this situation, this school decided to offer and focus in on accomplishing English 2 high school grad rate and a CTE program status by 12th grade. And their attainment bucket, they're looking for hitting the goals early in 10th grade and then hitting those 15 college credit hours and earning an IBC by 12th grade. So all I want to show you visually here, again, real quickly, is so that you can design your outcomes-based measures that are best suited for your campus success and, of course, your student success as well, in relationship to your partnership with your IHE and your partnership with your business and industry partner. I'm going to go ahead and skip through because we're running a little low on time and I don't want to miss out on the last components of moving forward. If you have any questions, I know you've been dropping them in the Q&A. If you have any questions, we'll definitely get those answers afterward as well. So please continue to drop in those questions in the Q&A and we'll get them answered and back to you as soon as possible. Moving forward, when you think about the LASO cycle 4, here's the timeline. So again, the LASO 4 application opened October 3rd and closes December 3rd, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can currently see that things have been implemented in September. We're currently in our October phase of opening the application cycle. You'll have until December 3rd to complete your LASO applications. After that closing in December, we'll take in and review the scoring. We'll review it, score it, get back to you with the finalists. Potentially, there could be an oral interview if needed, in January. And then you start seeing in February, March, and April the announcements for the LASO grant opportunities and who will receive them. And the anticipated announcement is February 2nd. And then again, connected to the review, negotiation, and the NOGO process in March, April, and May. LEAs must submit a LASO Cycle 4 application by December 3rd at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. TEAs emailed unique application links to LEA superintendents on October 3rd. If needed, LEAs can complete a request for application link form to receive a new link. PDF of the application was posted on the LASO 4 Cycle website. However, LEAs must submit the application through Qualtrics using the unique application link. So again, remember, you have to use that unique application link provided directly to your superintendent to officially submit the application. And again, all applications must be signed by the superintendent to be accepted. December 3rd is the deadline, 5 p.m. Again, I know you may have multiple questions. I do truly appreciate you letting me introduce you to the success of our model, introduce you to the program blueprints and the structure we've created for your success. We hope that we've answered some of your questions. If we haven't answered all the questions, we'll be having multiple office hours as shown here. We hope to see you and join you if you have additional questions. I'll be there to answer your questions October 28th, 27th, and November 3rd. There'll be FAQs that we posted November 3rd. And again, for questions about the application process or technical assistance with the actual application, connect with your LASO team. And for questions about PTech, shoot us an email at ccrsm@tea.texas.gov. A quick reminder around change requests and declines in LASO. Just keep in mind that LASO has an informal discretionary competitive grant process. Declines and change requests are not advisable. If declines are requested, They will be considered on a case-by-case basis. And if granted, could raise the LEA's federal grant risk level rate in the coming years. A really good visual of what's open to you. Again, we're in that application window from October 3rd to December 3rd. Program webinars will be starting today and continuing through the 24th. Great resources, one-pagers, some really cool stuff on the LASO 4 website. So please go there. Initiative one-pagers, eligibility and prioritization, guidance documents, a selection tool, roles and responsibilities, and insight tools. So I think the LASO team has done a really good job of continuing to build out and provide opportunities for you to make really good decisions even before you start the application process. And I hope that the hour spent today gave you more information on why the PTEC grant could be a really good connection for your students and your staff moving forward as well. This concludes our session today. Again, I just wanted to bring up that the December deadline there, and that, sorry, back one here. Apologize for that. That is the correct date, December 3rd. I apologize for that slide. December 3rd at 5 p.m. is the deadline, and we hope that you benefit from today. This concludes the recording portion of the event.